Well, good afternoon, y'all. It's Friday afternoon. It's 4:30, and I have a craving for a chocolate meringue pie. I've been wanting one for the longest time, and I have to really be in the mood for making a pie. So I'm going to start with the crust. I'm going to use a recipe that my sister always uses. It's 1 1/3 cup of flour, all-purpose flour. Okay. And a 1/2 teaspoon of salt. A 1/2 cup of shortening. And I indulge and buy the Crisco in the sticks. They're more expensive, but at 70 years old, I think I can indulge a little bit. 1/2 cup right here. And I will need 2 to 3 tablespoons of cold water. But the first thing I need to do is blend the flour and the shortening. I'm using a pastry cutter. Okay, you want that to be kind of pea-sized. Now I'm going to add my water. And 2 to 3 tablespoons. It might take more than that. Just have to wait. Depends on the moisture in the air and other factors. Okay, mix it with my hands. You want to work quickly. It's like biscuits. The more you work it, it'll get tough. And all the time you're blending it, you're kind of mashing it together, trying to get that dry mixed with the water. And I think it's going to take more water. So let's see here. Just add 1 tablespoon, so that'll be 4 tablespoons of water that I've used. You don't use enough and your crust is dry. You use too much and it gets hard. And of course, you can use butter if you want to, and there's lots of pie crust where they use oil. I'll have to do a little series on different pie crust. I use different pie crust for certain things. But just for a regular pie, this is the crust that I use. Okay, I'm going to put just a little bit more. So that'll be 5 tablespoons of water. You want that crust to come away from the sides of your bowl. Okay, and I might put too much water in there because it's kind of sticky, but I'll still eat it. Okay, and wash my hands. Alright, I've cleared out a little space so I can roll it out. Sprinkle some flour on there. Sprinkle some flour on your countertop. Now I can feel that this pie crust is pliable. It kind of moves in the hand. Feels soft. Okay, let me move this out of the way. I'll roll out. Just give a little pressure on your rolling pin. I actually have 3 rolling pins. I have one that belonged to my mother, and then I have 2. Okay, get my pan. Actually, I think I have, I don't know, 4 or 5 pie pans. I've had to make a lot of pies before. Now fold it over. Now I fold it again. Just makes it easier to lift up. Okay, and just move it around. Get it to fit in your pan. Okay. Now, I love pie crust, so I don't trim mine to the edge. I tuck mine under all the way around. That's, when you're the cook, you can make it like you want, or like your family likes it. And because I like pie crust, I don't waste any of it. Sometimes if you have a little extra, like this spot right here, it needs a little bit. So I will take a little bit off of this one and do a little patchwork there. Okay, and I will continue turning that under. Okay, and then I kind of press it against the sides so it will stay there. And as I do that, it pushes up the crust so that when I do put on my egg whites and get the filling in there, there's plenty of height to keep the pie in. Okay, now I'm going to pinch the edges. I use my index finger and these two fingers, and I just press in and kind of pinch it. A little more pressing just to make sure it's going to stay. All right, I need a fork. And I'm putting these fork marks in here to give a little vent for the crust, and I do it around the edges. That's so that your pie crust doesn't puff up. And I'm going to put it in the 400-degree oven for 7 to 10 minutes. Okay, here's my pie crust. I let it cook for 11 minutes. Set that aside. I've left my oven on because I have to, cook the meringue when it's time for that. A cup of sugar, a third of a cup of flour. That would be all-purpose flour. And now I have a tablespoon of cornstarch. A pinch of salt, which usually means like 1/8 of a teaspoon or 1/4 of a teaspoon, depending on what you like. And a third of a cup of cocoa. Okay, I usually buy dark cocoa. I like the dark. A third of a cup of cocoa. All right. Those that don't know, that would be Hershey's or whatever brand you use of baking cocoa. Okay. Now, I'm going to put this in my cast iron pan. Get my gravy whisk and blend that around. I haven't turned my burner on yet. Okay, now I need 2 cups of milk, and I'm going to use oat milk. Again, you can use whatever kind of milk you want to. Whole milk, 2%, 1%, plant-based, canned milk, goat milk, just milk, any kind of milk. All right, 2 cups. All right. Now I'm going to turn my burner on, kind of a medium heat, and get this stirred in. And you don't want to be leaving the kitchen while this is cooking. You can do a couple other little things, like I'll clean up and stuff, but you need to be nearby so you can keep stirring it around. Let me see what time it is so y'all have some kind of it's 5:03. So we'll see how long this takes to get thick. You see it's not sticking, making clumps on my gravy whisk. See, I love this whisk. It's great for cornbread, good for making pies, good for scrambling eggs. It's my favorite tool. Alright, it's getting thick, thick, thick. I've got that temperature down. I'll see what time it is. It's 5:10. So it's taken about 7 minutes to get to this point. So that's not too long. Alright, let me separate my eggs. Got a little water in there. Okay, I want my egg whites in this pan because this is the one I'm going to beat up the egg whites for my meringue. And then my egg yolks are going to go in here. And I did let them sit out for a while. I put them in some warm water so that they would get warm. Wrong bowl. Okay. And you know, they say, there I go again. Okay. Let me do this one. Not to get yellows in your egg yolks. Well, I'm here to testify that I have gotten a little yellow in my egg whites. And I didn't have any more eggs, so I just went ahead and whipped them up, and they did just fine. Now, that's not to say that if you ended up with a bunch of yolk in your whites, it would mess them up, but you know, just a little bit's not gonna hurt, because you know you don't want to waste your ingredients. Okay, just about done here. It's nice and slimy. Okay, let me clean this up. Okay, now it is time for the eggs. Now, you take some of the hot liquid from the filling and put in your eggs and immediately start stirring those eggs so that they don't cook, so they don't scramble. And I always add a lot myself just to ensure that my eggs don't curdle. Okay. Now, let me pour this egg mixture in here. All right. Get my handy dandy gravy whisk out. Now when you start stirring in your eggs, you don't want to vigorously stir them, because if you do, then you break down your eggs. So you want to stir gently, and you need to let this cook for at least 5 minutes. I'm going to set my timer. But I've stood in this kitchen many times with my mother while I just watch her while she made the food. And I have such a vivid memory of her making chocolate meringue pies. Let me turn the heat back up just a little bit. You just have to take your time. Don't be in a rush. Okay, there goes the 5 minutes. I'm going to take it off the heat. Okay, I add, it says a teaspoon of butter. And a teaspoon of vanilla, which I never measure. Okay, you want to slowly blend in that butter and vanilla. Again, you don't want to break down your filling. Oh, I'm so excited. I really can't wait to eat this. This is going to be so good. When I was cooking for my family and I would make meringue pies, my son didn't like the meringue. I said, no problem, I'll eat it. So I always got double meringue. Okay. Now, I'm just going to let this sit here, and we will go over and whip up those egg whites. Let's put in a little cream of tartar. Helps to stabilize those egg whites. And I'm going to let the eggs get just a little bit foamy before I put the sugar in there. Oh, here, let me put it down. A little foamy. Okay, now I want to put in a little less than a half a cup of sugar. I don't want it to be real sweet. Okay, just a little at a time. Okay, I'm going to put some vanilla in there. Okay, a little vanilla. And if you don't want your egg whites discolored from vanilla, you can always buy white vanilla. But I like a little vanilla in there. Okay. I mean, you're the cook. You do what you want. Now, I want soft peaks. I want it to hold just a little more. Okay. If you stick your finger on there, rub it between your fingers. If you have sugar that hasn't blended, you can feel the grit, and you may want to let it whip it up some more. Okay, let's go back over to the stove. All right, now my pie crust is just warm. It's not hot, it's just warm. My filling is hot. And you want the filling to be hot because when you put your egg whites on top, you want the filling to be hot enough to make those egg whites stick to the filling and stick to the sides of your pie crust. Just stirring it around to make it smooth. It gets that film on top. Okay, in it goes. Okay, now that fills it up really nice. The recipe calls to use 3 or 4 eggs. I always use 5 because I want a good filling and a good amount of egg whites. Okay, now on go the egg whites. Okay, now you want to gently push it to the edge, and you want that egg white to fill up the little ridges where you pinched that pie crust. And make sure it gets in there real good so that the meringue doesn't break away from your crust. I'm going to get me a spoon. Not used to using the big old spatula. Okay, now if you see a little hole, just press on that and fill it in. And remember, my oven is still on. And bringing it from the center to the edge. If you don't have the patience for this, well, then maybe you should wait till you get patience. You can always buy you a piece of chocolate meringue pie, or use store-bought pie crust and box pudding, Cool Whip or Ready Whip. But my mama started teaching me how to make apple pies when I was 11 years old. I can make pie crust in my sleep. Okay, now you want to make sure you have kind of a little peak in the middle so that it comes down like a mountain or something. Okay, and then you can decorate it every how you want to, but I always just mash my spoon on there, make little peaks. And some of those little peaks get real brown. Yummy. Okay. Now, let me lick my finger. Okay, now I'm going to put it in the oven so the meringue can cook a little bit and get brown. And I'll set the timer for 5 minutes. And all right, here it is. One chocolate meringue pie. Oh, now I have to let it cool. If I were to cut it right now, it would just run everywhere. So I will put it aside. I guess I'll put it in my air fryer for a little while, and after it cools off enough, I'll put it in the refrigerator. And when I cut it, y'all will be here. Okay, y'all, I have waited an hour for the pie to cool, and I can't wait anymore. So I'm going to cut it, and that's always the test. You never know, is it going to be weepy? Is it going to be runny? And I did notice that the meringue kind of fell a little bit, which would indicate to me that I might not have whipped up the meringue as long as I should have. And another problem might be that I had it in a 400-degree oven, and I should have reduced that temperature to maybe 375 or 350 and cooked the meringue a little bit longer. But it doesn't matter. It's going to be good. Okay, let's cut a piece. Oh my, oh, so excited. How do I want to cut it? I'll just do it like this. I think I see weeping in there. If it didn't turn out right, or it's weepy and runny, oh gosh, I'll have to make another one. I can't be defeated by a pie. Okay. Yeah, it's really going to be weepy. That's disappointing. Oh yeah, it's really weepy. Oh, it's too weepy. I'll have to eat it with a spoon. Let me go get a spoon. And of course, I may not have let it cool off enough. I'll put it in the refrigerator. And it's like eating ooey gooey pudding. Okay. Okay, the chocolate part tastes good. You know, I could just not post this video and you would never know. But that wouldn't be fair. Chocolate's good. Meringue. And the crust. I don't know if you can see. See the layers in the crust? That's pretty good. Well, I would have to say this is a fail because the chocolate is runny. But I will put it in the refrigerator, and when I come back for a second piece after it's gotten really cold, I'll let you know how it turns out. Well, y'all have a good evening, a good day, a good afternoon. And please remember to be kind to someone. Someone needs your kindness today. Bye. Hey y'all, it's 12:30, after midnight. I've been working on editing this video. It was over an hour long. It's going to be a long video. It'll take forever to upload, but oh well. I put the pie in the refrigerator. It's still not like what it should be. You can see that it's running out. It's set up some. And yes, I ate a large piece, but I had soup and cornbread for supper. Now, I did a little research to find out what did I do wrong. And I figured that, first of all, my oven, the top burner is the only thing that works. And because I had it set at 400, it was too hot. I have always cooked my pies, my meringue pies, at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes. But because the bottom burner doesn't work, I guess the top burner works overtime. Because I did make a banana pudding with meringue on it a while back, and I cooked that in my air fryer, and it worked just fine, except it had the lines where the little burners are in the air fryer. You could you could tell part of it was brown, and then it was like it had a little stripe through it. And I'm going to link that video to this one. And so I Googled, why did my meringue fall? And it said that your eggs are either undercooked or overcooked. And so I think that these were overcooked, because you notice that there is a lot of brown here. Actually, this part right here that's brown, it shouldn't be brown. It should be more white, and that just the peaks or ridges should be kind of a more golden brown. I mean, the pie tastes just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. If I'd have made it for my family, they would have eaten it. And something else, the pie crust was good, but I think I should have cooked it longer. And because there was no bottom burner in my oven, it didn't bake as well on the bottom. So I guess from now on, until I get a new stove or oven, I will have to make my pies in my air fryer. But I'm going to cut a piece just so y'all can see. And I think a serrated knife would be better, to cut this with. Okay. It just fell off of there. But you can see right here, the egg white is attached to the chocolate, as it should be. And the crust, it could be browner. I really think it could be browner. But it's not going to go to waste. I'm going to eat it. It'll be just fine. But I'll have to wait a few days before I try making another pie. I don't need to be eating pie every day. So, I hope y'all can learn from my mistakes. Even at 70, after cooking for, 59 years, I still can make mistakes. So don't give up when you make something like this. Don't go and throw it in the trash. It tastes just fine. So don't be discouraged when you cook something and it doesn't turn out like you want it to. Okay, well, I'm going to go stay up for, 2 or 3 or 4 more hours. And I thank y'all for watching. And y'all have a good night's sleep, sweet dreams. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.